In her director's note in the program for the production of Altar Boys by Silhouette's production company, which is newly added to the roster of Kranzberg Arts Foundation groups, Elisabeth Wurm contemplates the question of whether the musical and the production are making fun of religion, more specifically of the Christian religion, and even more specifically of the Catholic religion. We've had Sister conducting her late-night catechism a couple of times lately at the Playhouse at Westport Plaza. She gets a lot of laughs, but it's genial laughter, much of it tinged with nostalgia for Catholic school days, and much of it directed at audience members who displeased Sister. But a few years ago, a local production of Christopher Durang's Sister Mary Ignatius Explains It All for You so offended some people that the performer playing Sister Mary Ignatius was provided with an armed escort to see her safely to and from the theater. I don't think any of the cast of Altar Boys will require an armed guard. Who could be offended by any of these 5 attractive, charming, and talented young men? Or who could be offended by the gentle and modestly clever spin that their songs and stories put on religion? They're performing the final concert in the Raise the Praise tour of this group known as the Altar Boys. As the name makes clear, the creators of this piece, and that's a sizable group with Mac Kessler and Ken Davenport credited with conceiving the show, with a book by Kevin Del Aguila, music and lyrics by Gary Adler and Michael Patrick Walker, and dance music by Lynn Schenkel. They amuse themselves and us not only with religious humor, but with a loving parody of the boy groups that flourished in the 90s. I confess seems the right word in this context, that at my age I have little familiarity with those boy groups. However, enough of that cultural high point seeped through to me that I was able to appreciate the mix of boy group moves that witty choreographer Jordan Woods provides. These guys must be in great shape because they are in constant movement for a big chunk of this 90-minute show, which moves like gangbusters. The dancing is tight, and they're singing too. The music's take on the boy groups is part of the fun, and music director Joel Hackbarth leads a fine little combo. The boys, Matthew, Mark, Luke, Juan, and their Jewish friend Abraham, who writes the lyrics, play the show with total commitment. Riley Dunn's Matthew, tall, good-looking, confident, leads the group. Clayton Humburg's Mark, cute, fine voice, does not give us the expected rhyme in a lyric that would confirm what we suspect about him. Kevin Corpuz's Luke, emotionally explosive, has spent time in rehab and is trying hard. It's the best, most convincing work I've seen from Corpuz. Marshall Jennings adds Latin color as Juan. Fraine, riveting as always, manages both to blend in and to be a little separate. I think he makes a Star of David when the others cross themselves. Chandler Spradling is heard as the voice of God when the boys need a little guidance. Ryan Shepard brightly lights the boys and makes attractive patterns on Devin Lowe's intriguingly simple set. Andrea Robb gives the boys their neat uniform appearance, and Peter Gunn designed the sound, including the beeps of the Sony Soul Sensor DX12, which counts the burdened souls in the audience. I think most of the audience had their burdens lifted by Silhouette's production company's Altar Boys.
I think you're right, and I think Silhouette is a nice new addition to the Kranzberg
Yes, look
roster.
forward to seeing more from them. Let's hear some of the Altar Boys singing.
Jesus, come